Welcome back. This is the last lesson recording for IM1, May 11, 2021. Now you're going to go on to Pad Deck and practice writing proper notations and using the proper markings on the triangles to state that triangles are congruent. So first, you're going to use the congruent statement to mark the congruent angle at pairs and congruent side pairs of the triangle. So what we're told here is that triangle TBU is congruent to triangle EFD. You can't go by the visual as to which are the parts that correspond. You need to go with the congruent statement. This though the statement inside the red box is what we call congruent statement. And to do that, we are going to match the first letter with first letter. So T matches with E, right? T matches with E. That means I am going to draw T matches with E, so I am going to put one up there and one up there. Okay, so, and then what else? The V matches with F. F are they're the second letters in the triangle statement. V, find your vertex V. And I'm going to put two arc marks there to say that these two are congruent. And then finally, U matches up with D. U, I'm going to put 3 and 3 there. Okay, so I've just put the congruent angle pairs markings. Now I need to do the sides. Okay, to do the sides. Okay, so what I can do is I can go with, let's pick a color, let's go with green. Okay, TV are the first two letters and EF are the first two letters of the second triangle. TV, where is TV? TV is this side length is corresponding to EF. Where is EF? It's this side right there. That means they are exactly the same in measure. So we can put those on both sides to correspond one notch and one notch there. Okay, what else? What else do we know? We can put V and U, and FD are the last two letters. VU and FD. Where is FD? Is these two. Okay, so they correspond, so I'm going to put two notches there, two notches here. And then the last parts are okay, so I'm going to put last side is this one, and that's the TU, or the first and the last, DE. That should match up. And so I can put 3 notches here to say that those 3 side lengths to match up. Okay, then we are supposed to decide which transformation are needed to translate or map the left triangle onto the right triangle. Triangle TBU to triangle EFD. If I started rotating this, okay, would that work? Okay, so if I bring the green side to the top, then the red angle is going to be on the left. So what else do we need? We actually need not just rotation, but we need to flip it over. Okay, and then rotate. So we need reflection and translation and rotation. So we need all 3. Next, we need to use the congruent statement to mark the congruent angles at pairs and congruent side pairs again. X matches with F. So X matches with F. X matches with F. And W matches with E. And then finally Y match with D. So, okay, what about the sides? Okay, the sides. XW, where is XW? XW is here. matches with FE. First two letters. FE is this one. So I am going to put one notch here and one notch there. Okay. Then what about WY? WY is here and matches with ED. ED is the bottom one here. So that's going to be two notches and two notches. Of course, you could put three notches in, three notches here, as long as they're the same. And then the final side is the third side. So I'm going to put three notches here, and the third side is this. And they have the equal length. Okay, so now looking at this, what is the transformation that is needed? You can kind of picture it being rotated. Okay, rotated, or this being rotated, or in this case actually rotated counterclockwise. No, rotated clockwise, it doesn't really matter. It does require a rotation. Okay, requires a rotation and translation. Okay, complete the congruent statement by naming the corresponding sides. So here we need to complete this. Okay, how do we do that? Well, what are we talking about? WV with a line over it. WV, W is here and V is here with a line over it. We're talking about this side, aren't we? Okay, so we need to figure out which is the side on the right hand triangle that corresponds to WV. Well, where is WV? WV is the last two letters. That means it corresponds to the last two letters of the right triangle, which is CA. Where is CA? Is right here. Okay, so these two sides correspond. So I can say WV corresponds to CA. So I can write CA with line over it like so. This time we need to complete what UV, the segment UV is congruent to. Where is UV? U is here, V is here. Again, we're talking about side length, aren't we? So we're talking about UV is this side length here. So how do we figure out which is the side that corresponds on the right triangle? Find your UV. U is the last letter, V is the first letter. That means it's the first letter and the last letter of the second triangle as well. So it's segment FE. Where's FE? Is this one. Okay, so they are corresponding and they are equal in length. So we can say FE and segment UV and segment FE, the side UV and side FE, they are congruent. This time we are given all the markings and we are asked to write the statement that says the two triangles are congruent. So remember, that will look something like triangle something 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 is congruent to, that's equal side with a squiggle at the top. It's not just a random squiggle, it's just up and down, and then is going to be equal to triangle or some other triangle name. So how do I figure out which are the parts that corresponds? Well, the easiest way is to mark the vertices. Notice that Q has one arc and X has one arc. That means Q and X will match up. So if Q is my first letter, X will be the first letter on the right triangle. And then P, it has the two arcs, and then P, which is the part with two arcs, that's W. So P is on the left hand triangle and W is on the right hand triangle. And then finally the R is the one with three arcs and Y is the three arcs here. So R matches with Y. So I know that the statement is going to be triangle QPR. QPR is congruent to triangle XWY. What about this? Again, don't go by the visual as to what you think are the same. You need to go by the markings. Alright, so I see that one arc matches with one arc here. That means triangle X on the left hand side corresponds to triangle A, vertex A on the right triangle. Then what about two arcs here and two arcs here? So Y matches with B on the right hand triangle, and then finally Z matches with Z here. So that's going to be Z and Z. So then finally I need to make sure that I put my congruence symbol. So triangle XYZ, triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle ABC. Okay, one more example. Okay, so we have triangle on the left and triangle on the right. Are they congruent? Well, we have 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 arc here, so I know. And we have 1 notch, 2 notch, and 3 notch. 1 notch is between 1 and 2 arc measures. 2 notches between 2 and 3, and the 3 notches is between 1 and 3, and that matches up. So therefore they are congruent. So we need to match up by writing the statement. So triangle V is the one with 1 notch, W is the 2 notch, and Y is the 3 notch, is congruent to, which is V has 1 notch, which is the corner with 1 notch. It is I, just in case you cannot see. Triangle I, and W has 2 notches or 2 arcs, and H has 2 arcs, and then finally J has 3 arcs. So triangle VWY is congruent to triangle IHJ. That's it for today. That's what we covered. Thank you for listening.